Representative Tlaib.
Gentlewoman from Michigan is recognized for 2.5 minutes.
This is just the latest in a long line of loopholes and handouts for big oil executives to get richer as the rest of us suffer. Fracking is particularly unregulated at the federal level because 20 years ago, then Vice President Dick Cheney, the former CEO of Halliburton, inserted a loophole into the Energy Act of 2005, explicitly exempting fracking chemicals from the EPA regulation under the Safe Drinking Water Act. Think about that. That means the oil and gas industry doesn't need to disclose any of the toxic chemicals that are seeping into our drinking water. Halliburton, of course, is one of the largest oil and gas companies in the world, and it also just happens to be behind most of the major fracking worldwide. So for the last 20 years, we have been stuck with the so-called Halliburton loophole, a terrible reminder of the revolving door of oil, money, and politics, and how big oil buys its way into the halls of Congress and the White House every single day. In fact, our new Secretary of Energy is the founder and former CEO of Liberty Energy, another fracking company. And the Halliburton loophole isn't the only giveaway that fracking benefits from. Under the Clean Water Act, there are provisions to prevent polluted stormwater runoff from contaminating our waters unless, here's the exemption, unless the runoff comes from oil and gas development facilities. Now Republicans want to give an even bigger handout to big oil with toxic legislation. They are sending the message to communities all across the country, our residents, that corporate polluters' profits are more important than their health, than their own drinking water. It is clear that they're doing this because it's always been polluters over people for Republicans 20 years ago, and it's polluters over people now. I urge my colleagues to vote against this environmental destruction and protect our drinking water. That is a crisis right now throughout our country. With that, I yield back to my colleague.
Thank you. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves, and the gentleman